Because with your vicious motherfuckers, it do take nerves. Believe me, we're not going to be shady, just fierce.
A candid look at gay life and culture in the 80s. I am The Wiz. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this review, please leave a like at the end of this video. And if you want to watch more, please subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. All right, everybody, I'm here to review the 1990 documentary Paris is Burning, directed by Jennie Livingston. I watched this film once before, but I didn't watch it all the way. I rented it at my local library back in about 97 when I was like 14, 15 years old. I rented this, Federico Fellini's 8.5, and Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo. And I got 20 minutes into this, and I had to turn it off, because I was like, I don't understand what this is all about. Like, I was 15. Like, I just was like, this isn't for me. I'm going to turn on something else. Because I only watched 20 minutes of it, I pretty much counted that as I didn't see the movie, because I've heard so many great things about it, and I just guess wasn't in the right mind space for it. So I watched it completely last night, and I definitely see why a lot of people love this film and why it is important to a lot of people. But anyway, let's get started on my thoughts. So the film is interesting in a lot of ways. It spends a lot of time in this movie talking about and showing gay culture in the 80s, specifically around these balls that happen in New York City. I think the ball section, where they show the ball competition, are interesting for a little bit, but they really spend a lot of time on them. And I have to be honest with you, I kind of got bored when they started really delving into those things and spending a lot of time on the balls. I will say that once they started getting into terminology and lingo and slang is where I found it a little more interesting, mainly because a lot of the slang that they used back then is slang that is used now in popular culture, and I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think it's bad, but I will say it's definitely not for me, I guess. I'm not a guy who's really into fashion. But I will say when the film gets more into the culture and the terms that people use around that culture is when I started to get a lot more interested in what's going on. But I think the most interesting things about this film is when they talk about the characters. When they talk about someone like Pepper LaBeija and God, what's her name? I think it's Brooke Extravaganza, I think is what her name is. I thought they were more fascinating to discuss and show than I would say the balls. And I wish the film actually stuck with them more than they stuck with the terminology and the balls and everything. But the people that are surrounding it and the people that run the houses and people that are on the streets who live their life as they do, I think they were a much more interesting group of people, and it would be a much more fascinating subject to go over in this movie. I definitely understand why a lot of people really love this film. The film shows these people in a very empathetic light, while showing the culture and the way they live. It really feels like you're looking into a window of this culture, but I would have liked to have seen and known more about the people that were involved in this stuff. Even if they weren't that important, I would have liked to know more about their lives. And it just doesn't seem like you get to know a lot of them until maybe the third act. But yeah, again, I understand why people love this movie. I understand why it's celebrated. There is an importance to this movie that I understand. But if I'm honest, I think it was my lack of interest in fashion and stuff like that that really left me bored with the balls and stuff like that. So I am not saying that I think this is an overrated film. I just don't think it's for me. But I still think it's good in its own way. Alright, so before I get into my rating, let's see what other people think about this film. Letterboxd users has it at a 4.5 out of 5. Again, this is a much beloved, celebrated film, so I understand that. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a score of 98%, of course. And this wasn't nominated for any Oscars at the time it was released. I'm giving Paris is Burning 3 stars out of 5. Again, I am not going to sit here and say this is an overrated film or people are overrating it at all. I just don't think that what it's covering is something that interests me all that much. I would have really liked to know more about the people who surround this culture and to really get to know them in a way. But overall, I did enjoy the film, even though I think a good portion of it is something I just really was not interested in. And again, that's me. I'm not interested in that stuff, but I could see why a lot of people do love this film. So overall, I give Paris is Burning 3 stars out of 5. It is everywhere. So if you have Max, if you're on YouTube, it's free. If you have the Criterion channel, it's on there. It's pretty easy to find. So if you just look up on YouTube Paris is Burning. You'll probably find the full film on there. So check it out if you're interested. All right, everybody. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
To be legendary is like their goals. To be legendary. You know, let you know I'm legendary and you're not. That's,
like,
you know, it feels good to them.
An Oscar.
An Oscar, right.
It's the same thing.
Become a legend, you have an Oscar. It's the same thing.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my letterbox at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.